Welcome everyone, it's me, Soul Gardener 74, and I would like to welcome you to my garden and my channel. Today I want to share with you what flowers I am growing in my edible garden. My channel is different from other gardening channels. I am not one to put out videos every day. For one, I don't want the stress of it. I like enjoying working in my garden, and it's something I do as a hobby and not something I'm trying to do as a career or profession where I have to be making videos every day. So my apologies for those who are looking for videos every day. You won't get that from my channel. So let's get started, guys. What type of flowers is growing in the Soul Gardener's garden? Well, I'm going to share with you as much as I can the ones I know the names of. It's some I do not know the names of because I threw the tag away. So let's get started. And this is a beautiful Mexican sunflower, the torch, and I love this plant. It does not look that great, but it's been growing since January, and it's okay because butterflies love this plant. They love flowers that have like a flat landing area for them to land on and to drink nectar. And the Mexican sunflower is also great for fixing the soil. It brings up phosphorus from the soil, so it benefits any plants that are planted around it that may need that extra nutrients. So I love to plant lantanas throughout my garden because bees love this plant as well as butterflies. In Florida, you can find these in ditches any and everywhere, and they're considered a weed. A lot of things in my garden are considered weeds, but butterflies and bees actually love these wildflowers over hybrid flowers that are grown in nurseries. This is the blue salvia. I have a small one. I have a couple of these that are smaller, and then I have those which are about 2 feet tall. And I love this plant. It's in the mint family. You can tell, look at the leaves. And the fragrance, oh my goodness. I understand why bees love this plant. It will put out new flower heads right there. And then it flowers up the flower head like that. And I love marigolds in my garden. I love different types of marigolds. I have French marigolds, I have firecracker marigolds, Mexican marigolds. Just any type of marigold is always going to be welcome in my garden. I have sunflowers everywhere, but this is society garlic, and it was flowering at the earlier part of spring. It had a beautiful purple flower. This is a Dalberg Daisy. The fragrance and the scent of this flower, oh my god, it's captivating. I'll show you. So I got this one from the plant nursery because it was only $2. And when I purchase plants, I like to buy them in threes because it's better for the beneficial insects to have them grouped together, not spaced out and separated, but keep them grouped together if they're the same type. But I got this because it's drought tolerant. It's actually good in sandy places and places that don't get a lot of water. You will find stuff like this along the beaches. And this is a blanket flower. It's considered a weed, but it's an actual beautiful flower. I love these flowers right here. They're in our community garden, just popping up everywhere. Lavender, it's not flowering now, but it was, and it has flower heads coming. I have so many different types of lavender growing in the garden. This is lemon bergamot, and I transplanted this from my community garden because I planted it out there and I had no idea what it was. I honestly thought it was lemon mint, and then it took so long for it to flower, and it started flowering in the early spring, and these things are absolutely beautiful. It's like a whole bunch of them at my local community garden that I'll have to share with you guys. But I ordered more seeds so that I can grow them from seed to add to the garden. This is porterweed, and as the name says, it's a weed. And this is something you would find is native to Florida. It's something you would find in a ditch in Florida, but the bees and the butterflies absolutely love it. And just like the salvia, it starts flowering from here, different purple flowers eventually until they're all open. And I like to plant Coleus because I have so many different, I planted a whole bunch of Coleus from seeds, so they're just everywhere in the garden right now. Zinnias, I love zinnias as well, so I splashed them throughout the garden. And we have more marigolds here. This plant here, I do not remember the name. I took the tag off. I did get this from my local plant nursery, but it's planted in this beautiful planter with sweet potato vines. I put this together this morning and I painted it, and the sweet potato vines I planted inside of here so that they can eventually vine out and take over this area here and become a ground cover. We have more blanket flowers and another smaller salvia. This is an actual butterfly bush. This one is compact. The large ones get about 12 feet tall, but this is much smaller, so it will not get that tall. As the name says, it's a butterfly bush, so the butterflies love to be on this plant. I think this is a fire spike, I'm not sure, but I got this for the hummingbirds. It was in the front of the house, so it's not looking great. It did not like that area. I noticed it's like a honeysuckle. When I went to the community garden, I noticed the ones out there are under a shade canopy, so I'm gonna find a nice shaded spot for that. And some of my hibiscus that needs to find a place to be. And this is variegated milkweed, and I have tons of milkweed, but I wanted the variegated one since I didn't have that one in my garden. And of course, I always have tons of different varieties of sunflowers in the garden. And this is the teddy bear sunflower, which is so cute with its puffy little flower. This is my cut flower bed, and it started out with this zinnia and these marigolds. The marigolds look so beautiful. They're filling out quite well. We have black-eyed Susans, and this sunflower that is in here is massive, but this is what it looks like. And this is one that has multiple heads, meaning that it has a longer time to present its beauty to us, and that's the head at the top. Look how many heads this sunflower has on it. So eventually they'll all open up. And what I did was plant the red scarlet runner beans underneath here so it can start vining up here. So as the sunflower starts dying off, this stalk will still stand. So I put the red runner beans to have some red beauty and something for the hummingbirds to have a treat from. And I still have some nasturtiums that are doing okay. They're not that great. Like I said, they don't like heat, but this tomato plant is becoming more shaded, more of a shade canopy. So I planted carrots seeds in here. That's why the wood chips are like that. It's one of my onions. And this is another beautiful salvia that I added right here so that we can get some birds and bees actually inside of the garden area. Everything is on the outside, and my dill is about to flower. And as you know, bees absolutely love herbs and vegetable flowers more than they do normal flowers. You can't keep them off of them. I planted different sunflowers throughout the garden. Mosquito already. And I have some lantana sunflowers. I think I planted nasturtiums in there. It's so many things. You got red mustard, you got normal mustard greens, nasturtiums, lemon balm. Just threw everything in there. So this is my first Cosmo flower. I could not get any of them to germinate at my community garden in the greenhouse. So I'm looking forward to seeing that flower. Now I planted some Coleus in here and some carnations. I added morning glory because this Malabar spinach is a slow grower and I didn't know that. More milkweed. That dragonfly. Over here we have sunflowers, Mexican marigolds, Mexican sunflowers. On the hill we have more flowers. So we have black-eyed Susan right here that I am patiently waiting on to open up. I started this one from a seed in January and she is slowly revealing herself. Coleus, this is Salvia I had left over in the community garden from the fall. Look like their time is getting close to being spent, so I'm gonna have to replace it, but that's okay. I have some black hollyhocks that I can replace it with that I started from seeds. More marigolds. I love to keep the marigolds in the beds along with squash. And I don't remember the name of these. I got them from my community garden. They were like $2 for 6 in the pack. And this is Florida phlox that I grew from a seed. The bees love it. It's native to Florida. And the butterflies. So some more marigolds and zinnia right there. This is sparkle lavender. This plant right here has thorns all the way up the stem, and it puts out a ton of seed pods, so it will reseed itself in this area, which I'm okay with that because this is the wildflower area. As you can see, that's my bee hotel. And yesterday I threw out a whole bunch of seeds in this area. I planted marigolds, zinnias, calendula, echinacea, and I had a wildflower perennial mix that I also threw out here. I threw out some bok choy because I know it's going to go to seed, bolt, and flower. So I'm trying to attract the honeybees, not the honeybees, the mason bees over here, because I'm going to start collecting mason bees to save to keep a generation in my garden. So this is sweet potato vine, but it's ornamental, the lime and the purple. And I planted this here to be a ground cover. So eventually it'll take over growing down here and I won't have to keep using wood chips year after year. This is pentas. Butterflies and bees love this flower right here. And I added some lemon thyme because I want it to be a ground cover and start growing down here. We have echinacea that I started from seeds, and pink lantana and coleus. This is the sunflower bed that I still need to whip and shape. I'm still throwing sunflower seeds out here each week. As you can see, they're different sizes. This is a mammoth, and that's where the sun sets. So this is where this sunflower head would be tonight, but in the morning her head will be off to the east where the sun rises. Gotta have this for the bees and the butterflies. This is a multi-petaled zinnia, and I like these like better than the single or the double petals. I like them a lot. I added some more Coleus over here in my flower bed that is along the patio area. And when the full moon came, I threw out a whole bunch of zinnia seeds down here, so that's what's popping up. They came up pretty quick. This is the tomato alley, guys. Of course, we have tomato flowers, cucumber flowers, pepper flowers. But what we have here is just a flower bed area, no edibles. We have ornamental sweet potato vine that I want to eventually take over, like I said, to be a ground cover. Teacup roses. These are my knockout roses that I had got off a clearance rack. This is, I cannot think of the name, but it's more of a succulent. Elephant foot. This is elephant foot. More Coleus. This is gladiosus bulbs, and these are black-eyed Susans. So this is the front of the house, and this is the flower bed in the front, and we have Mexican sunflower, creeping Jenny, which likes shade, that's why it looks like that, black-eyed Susans, my Jamaican sorrel, which flowers every day, and you see that? I can harvest that right there and start drying these cows for tea. And we have some more Coleus, which prefers shade, so it really doesn't like the front. I have to find something else to start filling in here. This is iris bulbs, so some more Jamaican sorrel. And this is my beautiful rose, another one that I bought as a rescue. And some yarrow. Yarrow is edible, and it's a herb. So this is around my lamppost in the front of the house. And these are some more beautiful Mexican sunflowers. You can actually take the leaves and create a compost tea with it. These leaves are used in other countries as a green manure. So that's why I like growing them. In addition to the beautiful butterflies coming and landing on top of them and having a snack. Thing is, they reseed like crazy, so I deadhead them a lot. More marigolds. My black-eyed Susan. Check it out, guys. This is the first one that flowered from the batch of seeds that I grew. So these look a little bit different than the ones over there. These are more like, I think these are more like rutabagas or rutabaga, and butterflies and bees absolutely love this plant. It's so beautiful. And morning glory, that is not looking its best, so I'm gonna probably replace this with Malabar spinach to grow up this post. But that's it, guys. That's all of the flowers that I have in my garden. I really have been meaning to do a video on the different type of flowers that are growing in my garden. And last year I suffered a lot from pests. And the reason why I suffered a lot from pests is I didn't have enough diversity in my garden to distract the pest. So I learned from that mistake, and I made up my mind that this year I was going to plant more flowers. So I started doing research on what type of flowers would work good in my area that would attract the butterflies and the bees and the ladybugs. And so I started buying seeds last year, and I've been patiently waiting and so eager that I started seeds in January for the garden. And that's why we have so many of the marigolds already popping up, and the black-eyed Susans and the different flowers that I started from seeds. because I started in January. But I think next year I'm gonna start a lot of the flowers in maybe November, and we'll see how it goes. And then what I do is succession plant. I keep planting flowers so that when these die back, there will be replacements. Right now I got some hollyhocks going, and I ordered a lot of the old medicinal herbs that has flowers that bees and butterflies love. So I will be adding those to the garden area, especially the pollinator area. And that's it, guys. I just wanted to share what type of flowers are growing in my garden and explain to you why there's so many flowers in my garden as opposed to food. I did the whole let's plant a whole bunch of food and not enough flowers thing last year, and I suffered for it. But I still have a ton of food growing in the garden, and I'll do a series of what's growing in my garden. Ton of food growing in my garden. So you'd be amazed at this small space that I have, how much flowers, herbs, edibles, and vegetables. The next thing I'm working on is my fruit trees. A lot of the fruit trees I currently have are young because I grew them from seeds. So I'm gonna start buying different type of fruit trees to bring more fruit into the garden. I have blackberries, blueberries, pink guava, pineapple guava, and some other stuff that can give me quick fruits, passion fruit now, but I want those citruses where I can have stuff during the fall, and seasonal stuff where I can have fruit all year long. But if you like this video, guys, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Please share this video with others, and if you're not already a member of the channel, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.